why do you have Abdul Carter first overall in your first mock draft, Trevor Sikkema?
So I want to be clear. I have Travis Hunter as my number one overall player in the class. It's really splitting hairs between these two guys. However, when you talk about a guy that you're drafting number one overall, a lot of times you do just lean the trenches. And when I look at the Tennessee Titans, they are a team that needs more juice on the defensive line. And I think if you put a defensive line together that's Jeffrey Simmons, that's Harold Landry, and now you're throwing in Abdul Carter as well, that at least is a little bit of a slingshot for a team that was bad enough last year to get the number one overall pick. Now, obviously, quarterback goes into the equation. We'll see how desperate they are after free agency. But yeah, I just look at Abdul Carter as somebody who he's going to prove it at the combine, however much he wants to participate, whatever jumps or runs or agility drills or whatever it is. I mean, like, he's a total freak show. And it's so hard to not see Micah Parsons in him. And I know that's, annoying because he played for the same school and he wore the same number and he basically did the same stuff. But if you got the chance to draft the guy who's anything like Micah Parsons, it's hard to not pick that guy at number one. So that's why I had him going number one in my most recent mock.
Yeah, and I know that's your comp for him. That's your professional comp for Abdul Carter is Micah Parsons. I mean, number, school, but the game does match. You really think that his Abdul Carter's game matches Micah Parsons?
I do. And more importantly, I think the build does as well. It's not just that the guy plays the same position or he's coming from the same school or whatever. They're built very similarly. They have similar height. They have similar weight profiles. They have similar length profiles when it comes to their arm length. And they win in a lot of the same ways. And again, it sounds like it's something, of course, it's like an easy comp, but it's actually not an easy comp because of how damn good Micah Parsons is at what he does. It's actually a very difficult comp to be able to give for these guys. I think sometimes we get a little bit carried away with pro comparisons. You're comparing guys who haven't played it down in the NFL to like future Hall of Famers. So I don't give away even all pro comps very often because I'm aware of how difficult it is to really make that transition from college to the NFL. But it's hard to not see what Abdul Carter did this past year. And the backgrounds are similar too. Now that I'm just thinking about it on the top of my head, Parsons started as an off-ball linebacker, and then they moved him to edge. It's exactly what happened with Abdul Carter. This was the first year this year that he was a full-time edge rusher. And if you're telling me that what we got in 2024 is the baseline for what he's going to be moving forward, yeah, sign me up. I mean, the dude was basically dominating a college football playoff game with one arm. So imagine when he's fully healthy, he's got two, and he's got more experience playing on the edge.
Well, and we'll get to more of your comps in a moment. I do want to just go back to how you began your answer. Two things. One, you used splitting hairs. Well done. I don't know if you were realizing you said that. That's number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, you mentioned free agency, how desperate the Titans might be after free agency. So I guess that leads me to ask you what your evaluation of Will Levis is, or what you think the Titans' evaluation of Will Levis is in Brian Callahan's first foray with him, Trevor.
So I wouldn't be somebody who's giving up on Will Levis as a player. But unfortunately, it doesn't really feel feasible for this team to, let's say they strike out on Sam Darnold, right? Let's say Aaron Rodgers retires, so they don't get Aaron Rodgers either. It feels very difficult to sell to this fan base. Yeah, Will Levis is coming back. He's going to be the starter. Oh, no. It's going to be different this time around. And I really do believe that you don't give up on quarterbacks who have the arm talent that Will Levis does. So that's why I'm not giving up on him as an NFL player. But it's hard to think that his time as a starter with the Titans isn't over, given the fact that he had every bit of opportunity to become that starter moving forward for them. And so I feel as though Levis is going to get a chance at some point somewhere else in the NFL. It's just hard for me to think that the Titans would want to sell that to their fan base after getting the number one overall pick and go, yeah, we're going to roll into next year with the same quarterback. That just doesn't seem like how NFL teams operate.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.